Good day, everybody. This is Martin, and I have something that I think is important that I want to share with everybody. It is around leadership. Leadership is one of my favorite subjects. It's a very complex subject. It's not as easy as we think. You get lots of theories of leadership. People think they understand leadership, but ever since time immemorial, people have been trying to understand the concept of leadership, really. But there's something which is sort of gotten my attention, and I was teaching this at one of my clients. I had a very big class, probably close to 100 people that were in the auditorium, that I was teaching this around leadership. And it's something that it was called personal leadership. And I was teaching the leaders there that you are not going to be able to lead other people unless if you are able to lead yourself. The first person that you have to be able to lead is yourself. Now, there is, in personal leadership, there is something which is called core ideology. And every leader must have that core ideology, whether you're a leader in business, whether you're a leader in church, whether you're a leader in government, in any sphere where you are operating from, in as far as leadership is concerned, you must have a core ideology. And now core ideology is sort of an identity, something that defines who you are. And it has four things. Now, what is the first thing around core ideology in self-leadership? It is called purpose. Now, I don't want you to just brush this aside. Just listen for a few seconds here. Purpose. What is your purpose as an individual? Now, the word purpose answers the question, why? Why am I alive? Why do I exist? And I believe that one of the biggest tragedies in humanity is someone, or to live a life without a purpose. So why? Why am I alive? And I don't think that is a question that you can answer in 2 minutes. You're going to need a lot of reflection to answer that question. Why do you exist? Do you know why? Well, you will need a bit of time to answer that question. When you get it, I think it's important to write it down. Now, if you're a Christian, I believe that we get our purpose from God as a Christian. Because God gives us our purpose. When we understand the purpose that God has for us here, then it answers my question, why? Why am I alive? You could be alive for different reasons, but you need to answer that question for yourself. You need to do a lot of soul searching until you're able to answer the question, why? Why do I exist? After purpose, there is the second thing in this core ideology. It's called vision. Every person, especially those that desire to be in leadership, but every human being actually must live with a vision. Vision and purpose are not the same thing. Now, vision tries to answer the question, where? Where am I going? Remember, purpose is why do I exist? Vision is where am I going? There's a scripture that says that a nation without a vision perishes. And I think also that is one of the biggest tragedies around humanity, where people live without a purpose, or without a vision, I mean. They don't know where they are going. Now, if you don't have a vision, you have nothing that drives you to meet certain goals. Now, a vision is some form of a long-term goal that you want to achieve in 20 years or so. Now, the purpose of a vision is that once you set it, it then directs your path. You say, I'm going there, and therefore I'm going to walk in this direction, because you've got something that you are aiming to achieve. You have a vision. Even organizations and corporates and governments, all these entities that we see, they have a vision. And at an individual level also, we need to set vision. What is your vision? What do you want to achieve? And the vision, you must be able to put it down and write it down and say, in the next 20 years, this is where I want to be as a person. Now, once the vision is there, we go to the third thing. It's called mission. Now, this looks like a very simple, business management class or teaching that we understand, but just listen to this. The word mission answers the question, what? What am I doing now to achieve my vision? You see, you need to be able to define what you are doing or what you should be doing to achieve your vision. You cannot achieve your where if your what is wrong. So, what am I doing now? So, for example, if I say that my vision is, I don't know, perhaps to be a very successful, influential person in my community who makes XYZ money, is then going to be determined by what you are doing now. So how do you get to that point? You say maybe you are going to school, maybe you are getting that qualification and opening that business or whatever it is. But what are you doing now that is going to help you to achieve your vision? If you don't achieve your vision, it's most likely because your mission was wrong. What you were doing now did not help you to achieve the vision. And you cannot set a mission before you set the vision. The vision first, because once you have the vision, now you know what you need to do now to achieve that vision. And I think that is very important. We can take this for granted and just live our lives as if, things will happen by themselves. And yet I think it's important for us to say, okay, so this is where I'm going, but what am I doing today? What am I doing now and tomorrow? So it's like my little steps that are helping me to achieve my vision. I have often said that leadership, you see, it's not the problem actually that we have in South Africa today is we send people on a 2, 3, 4, 5 day course, leadership course, and boom, we say we have a leader. If you read the book written by John C. Maxwell called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, there's a law he put there which is called the law of process. And the law of process pretty much says that leadership is not a one-day thing. It's what you do in the long run. It's almost like brushing your teeth. You're supposed to brush your teeth twice a day for 2 minutes. But what does brushing your teeth for 2 minutes twice a day really do? Nothing, unless if you do it twice a day for 2 minutes every day. So it's a process. It's almost like going to the gym. If you go to the gym and you are lifting, if you just go one day and you do 9, 10 hours and you go back to the mirror and you look, you don't see muscles there. But if you go and do this every day for just 10, 15 minutes every day, you are going to start to see your body changing. This is the mission we're talking about. What are you doing on a daily basis to make sure that you achieve your goal? In any field. In any field. It could be in government, it could be in corporate, at an individual level, even building a ministry. That's what I believe. The last thing around the word or this phrase called core ideology in personal leadership is called values. And values answers the question how. How what? How am I going to behave while I'm on my journey to meet my vision? Now, values are principles that we live by, and it's beliefs. Now, what happens to a person who lives without values? This is something that I had to learn, over the last few, months and few weeks. If you live without values, you are going to compromise on almost everything. And values, like I've already said, are principles, are beliefs that you live by. For example, there's a book written by Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Somewhere in the middle of the book, Stephen Covey says that, okay, let me help you to set your values. But what you need to do now, put the book aside and take a pen and write. Normally when you are reading a book, If the writer asks you to put the book aside and do an exercise, normally we skip that part and want to go to the next chapter. I actually don't encourage that. It's actually very important to do those exercises because I think they will help you. So he says, if you want to set values, the question that you must ask yourself is, what is it that you want people to say about you on your funeral or at your funeral? What do you want them to say about you? The question, or rather the answers to that question, should help you to set your values. Maybe you can say, well, why do I care? I'll be dead anyway. But, well, you're still alive now. If you're struggling to set values, then that is how you set them. So you say, you want people to say something like, he was a man with a lot of integrity. He always told the truth. He never lied. He loved his family. You see, those are values. So you set yourself these principles. So if it's integrity, then you say, I'm always going to be here to be a person of integrity, no matter what happens. If it is I want people to say that I was an honest man, then you say, that's my value. And while I'm on my mission to achieve my vision, I will always be honest. I will always be a person who lives with integrity. I will always be a person who values my family. And those are values. Now, I was saying I was invited a few days ago at the University of Johannesburg at the graduation ceremony, and I was a guest speaker there. And I was talking to this graduate, and I said something that I think was very important there. And I said, since time immemorial, human beings have always been looking for something that fulfills them, something that satisfies them, to get fulfillment. And maybe he thought, maybe if I get married, I will be fulfilled. Then he got married and the fulfillment didn't really come. Okay, maybe if I have children, I will be fulfilled. But then the fulfillment didn't come after having children. Maybe if I have a lot of money, I will be fulfilled. And the money came, and still there was no fulfillment. And I said, you see, what I really believe brings fulfillment in the human spirit is not when you have all these things, a money, a beautiful wife, children, and all these things. No. But it's when you live true to your values that you have set. When you live honest, when you live true, when you live with integrity, if these are your values, and you stick with your values no matter what, and you don't compromise on them, you will be fulfilled inside your heart. And I was saying to them also, I think it is important when we choose people to hang around with, when we choose friends to hang around with, you must always choose people that you share similar values with, not people that you share similar interests with. Because interests are temporary, but values are permanent. If I hang around with you today because maybe we drink together, that's an interest. What happens tomorrow if you stop drinking? Or if I stop drinking? It means we can't hang out together. Because interests change. And I think this is one of the biggest causes of dissatisfaction and unfulfilling lives that we live. When we hang around with people because we share similar interests and not necessarily values. Look for people that you share similar values with. And in his book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, John C. Maxwell has another law that he says, it's called the law of the inner circle. And he says that a leader's potential is determined by those that are surrounding him, which means how far you are going to go as a leader pretty much depends on the people that are around you. So if I own a corporation, if I own a company, and I want my company to do well, it means I need to surround myself with people that are brilliant. Now, if the people that I have are not brilliant, it is my duty to train them and groom them to make them brilliant. So once I'm surrounded with them, then the corporation can go and grow further. So is this thing called core ideology. Now, to summarize what I said, you need to develop what is called a core ideology, and it's made up of 4 things. Number 1, it's purpose, which answers the question why. Number 2, it's Uh, uh, uh.